All right, so I'm going to sit here and tell you all the different ways that I've figured out that people can be sketchy online. I got back from Whole Foods, and on my way to Whole Foods, I still have my sunglasses on. It's really sunny out today. You would never know it because like inside of my house is kind of really dark. But I wanted to talk about what I was thinking about on my ride home, because the thing happened on my ride there and I discovered it. And I was like, you know what? I should probably talk about, because I talk about how to get matches. I talk about how to be normal in your profile. And so I kind of want to talk about, like, you know, the kind of potential things that you could run into that are maybe dangerous things to like look out for, and like to use your best judgment. Every single thing that I tell you today could be explained as if it's normal, or could be explained as if you're walking to a trap that you're gonna get killed, right? So like, I want you to take this nuanced. I don't want you to think certain things are absolute truths if you see something similar happen in your dating life. I just want you to know what like people do, and like they could do some sketchy crap. And this is kind of like what I've learned that people do, and like the patterns or whatever. So I want to talk to you about one of the guys that I matched with on Hinge a couple of weeks ago. And I was so validated later on when I got an email from Hinge that somebody else had reported him. So it was great. I was like, my instinct was spot on that this dude was like no good. And I didn't actually go down the rabbit hole with him, and so I wasn't the one that reported him. But also I want to say, like, if you do find a sketchy person, it's super important that if you're still matched with that sketchy person, to report them on Hinge so that they can kind of like, at least that profile can be gone, and it might be harder for them to like make a new profile. But if you don't report them, then other people have to make, you know, fall for the same tricks that you fell for. And like, you're just trying to help out, you know, your fellow girlies or whatever. It's already hard, right? So I'm glad that somebody else reported him, and like my instinctual feelings that this guy was sketch was validated, and I want to talk about that. So anyways, he matched with me. He had a brand new profile. The reason I say it's brand new because it says new here at the top, but he had a verified profile. He was older than me. He was relatively attractive. He wasn't super like amazing or anything. He did say that he was in like some sort of film industry, and I don't mean to say adult film industry. He just meant that he was like connected to the movie industry somehow. And that's not really red flags considering how old he was. Like, he could have had like a nice long career and he ended up in the arts, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like he was like waving hundreds around and he had his McLaren and like his like goblet of like scotch or whatever. Like, it wasn't like he was just flashing his wealth everywhere, but he was like dropping certain hints or whatever that he was dateable, that he was relatively attractive, and he had just gotten out of a recent thing, and he wasn't really, in his profile it was like, I'm not really aware of how to date. And so it's like, I'm innocent, right? Like, it's like, oh, this is non-threatening, that this guy is like only been in a long-term relationship and he's fresh on the market. So anyways, he messaged me right off, and he was very aggressive in his like messages. It was like boom, boom, boom. And it was like, I really don't know what I'm doing. But he like knew what he was doing because of like how aggressive he was. And then he dropped his phone number, like after like the fourth message right away. He like dropped his phone number. He's like, I'm pretty sure that people like to communicate like right off and like arrange a date right off, so here's my number. And I was like, look, dude, I don't really know you and I don't really do it that way. And so this is why I'm going to keep it on Hinge right now. You could be great, but I don't know that yet. And so I'm not going to message you. I like to see, my personal way of doing it is I like to see if we have some chemistry, and I like to then decide a day or so later. And he's like, oh, that's strange compared to like the women that I've been meeting on here. And Like, I just didn't respond. So like a day or so later, I still hadn't responded to his stuff because I was like, whatever. I had plenty of other people to talk to at that point, and I was just like, there's something weird about this dude claiming to not know how to date in the real world right now, but then like has like, I don't know, there's something weird about giving me your phone number within like the first second or so. And so I didn't do anything with it. I think I did go to like whitepages.com, and I think I did like look up his phone number. And if you don't know, it's like one of the, like a free tool that you can gain like basic knowledge about somebody's phone number. So before I message somebody back and give my like phone number back to them, if they've given it to me first, I will do like a, like if I'm kind of like not convinced that they're normal, I will do like a little bit of more due diligence, and I'll go to whitepages.com. And there on the whitepages.com, there's a little tab that you can reverse look up and get basic information about somebody's phone number. You're not gonna get the person's name. You're not gonna go get where the person is from and like a lot of different things, but you can see a lot of basic stuff. For example, when I looked up mine, it gave me that I was in my 40s. It gave me my accurate cell phone carrier. It gave me that I had a cell phone. It gave me the cities that my area code could possibly be linked to and the general vicinity of where my area code came from. And so like it validates different parts of the equation if I've already told somebody that. Like if I've already said it in my profile. Like in my profile, it does say what my hometown is. In my profile, it does say what, you know, how old I am. And so without really even asking me any questions and just getting my phone number, people can be like, oh, she's not lying on those basics, right? Or she is. So I looked up his phone number, I think, before I kind of like forgot about it. I looked up his phone number and it came back with a landline. And usually people are trying to text you, like, right? Like on these apps, they don't just give you like a phone number to like only call. Most people have cell phones. Like, I'm not saying he was like 100 years old and didn't have a cell phone, like a jitterbug status. Like he probably was going to like pretend like he could text me from this landline because it was like a Google Hangouts number. So if it's a cell phone, it'll say cell phone. Or if it's a landline, it's going to say landline. And Google Hangout numbers are attached to the category of landline in whitepages.com. So burner numbers are also attached to that, because you can just have an app, an app that creates burner numbers for you. And it acts like Google Hangouts number, and you can still text from there. I think you can even call from there. So it's all like that. And so if his number had come back, it was a cell phone, then I might have put it into my new text messages and go to like see if he had an iPhone. For me, it's a lot less sketchy if somebody also has blue bubbles and it says iMessage at the top. So that's why people really care if you have an iPhone that the other person also has an iPhone, because like a lot less sketchy things. You can tell certain things from the conversation, text, or by calling. If you guys have the same phone type, you can still have a sketchy person try to scam you if it's an iPhone. You just still can if you also have an iPhone. So like it's not set in stone, but I'm just saying like the level of sketch here. So if I looked up his number and White Pages said it was a cell phone, and then I looked into my personal phone and was like, oh, he probably has an Android because it comes up that it's a cell phone and it's green, then I'll just know that he has an Android, right? Like without even asking him. But if it comes up that he has a landline and it comes up green, then that's weird. Why would a person have a burner number? Or why would a person be giving me not their cell phone number? Why would a person be giving me their app that they're texting from? It's either because they're married and they don't want to give you their real number, or it's because they're sketchy and they want to leave not a paper trail that it's attached to their real number. or it's just easier to like have burner numbers to give to people and just have like less of a paper trail. Like, it's just more sketchy. It just is. So if you are a person that dates a lot and you do not want to give out your real number, I understand that, but like maybe kind of like tell somebody it's not your real number, right? I don't know. Like, I could see if a girl was like really popular and she just didn't want like a lot of her past like mistake people to be like constantly contacting her or something. Like, there is a block feature, I get that. But I could understand how like a woman would create like burner accounts to give to potential matches because she doesn't know if they're going to work out or not. So like, it doesn't really mean that they're fully sketchy. There are reasonable explanations for the burner numbers or the green boxes that come up that are attached to landlines. But usually it's a little sketchy, especially in context with this person is brand new on the Hinge website. This person gave me their phone number immediately and barely even talked to me. And this person is pushy and comes back a day later and tells me, hey, my niece just barely told me about ghosting and this is what you're doing to me. And like trying to, like, he literally sent me that kind of message. He was like, if you want to like pick up our conversation on here, we can, but like you're ghosting me right now and I'm not like aware of like dating etiquette, he said, but I'm pretty sure that you're ghosting me. So he's like making me feel guilty about not responding to him anymore. And I didn't really do anything with that because I was already kind of done with him and I didn't unmatch him. I just kind of like tried to see what next he would do just out of curiosity. But I knew that I wasn't gonna like talk to him, but it did seem weird that he came back to kind of target me again and make me feel guilty. So a week or so later, a week and a half later, I get the message from Hinge that was like, William has been reported. Please, if you've matched with William, be careful, blah, blah, blah. So like instinctually, I knew that this was weird. Somebody who's like brand new to the dating world doesn't like act like this. It like raised red flags that somebody who's sketchy acts like this. And I was putting all the pieces together of his like landline phone number, giving me the phone number right away, saying that he's like in the movies, saying that he's like looking for love, and like all these things of, I don't know, I feel like they were arranged well because I matched with him, right? It was like believable to a point, and then it was like, I don't know. There's something about it just was weird because I talked to a lot of people. And I know what normal dudes do, like just by talking to a bunch of people. But if you're newly single also, and if you're, you know, not aware of what goes on in the dating world, I think that you could easily fall for what happened because obviously somebody else did fall for him and then she was the one that reported him, right? And like kind of like saved everybody else from having to deal with him. But I think it's not shameful if you accidentally fall for somebody that's doing sketchy things, but just be aware of like, take into account like what you know about normal dudes. What does a normal interaction look like? How does like a person arrange dates with you? How does a person arrange chemistry with you? How does like a normal person react? And when it seems off, it probably is, right? So like that was one of my first things I wanted to tell you about the William. He was weird. I've never been reprimanded or like been told that I was ghosting after like the first 4 sentences and I didn't really talk to him. That to me is not ghosting. And I almost like went back to like tell him that that's not the definition of ghosting, but like if that's not, I thought that was just like a waste of my time because clearly I didn't really want anything to do with him. So it was weird that he was trying to like use guilt. Like I cannot respond to you if I don't want to right now. There's nothing that says if we match that we have to like talk. There's nothing that says that. I can decide at any moment that you're weird. And I do try to give them the benefit of the doubt, but if weird things come up, my little spidey senses are like, I don't know about this because normally this doesn't happen like this. And so when too many things line up that it might be sketchy, I'm like, okay. So was very validating, like I said, when like a week and a half later or whatever, I got the email about him. I felt bad for that girl, but I was just like, interesting. Because sometimes I can be a little bit hard on myself, and I'm just like, Michelle, are you too careful? When like really, I feel like I'm almost not careful enough. A lot of the times when I talk to my friends about the stuff that happens, they're like, you need to pick better. And I'm like, I do try to pick better. Like, maybe I just live in a place that like a lot of people are really sketch, like around here, right? And for the past like 5 years, I've lived near a bigger city, and like my friends and like I used to be from like kind of a relatively safe part. So like their idea of what a safe person is already from a safe area. I live closer to like bigger cities, and I think that that equals, you know, way more creativity to be sketchy. I don't think that the safer cities are void of sketchiness, but I've just seen a lot more sketch. Okay, so the next thing that actually happened today and inspired this whole video. So I matched with this person, and he looked kind of like a Ken doll. He was very clean shaven, and he was like basically exactly what I wanted visually. And I was like, all right, like it's been a long time since like somebody within like my physical features that I enjoy in a dude has like prompted me on Hinge to like match. So I was like, yes, this is great. I looked at his profile. There's certain things about his profile that were a little bit strange, and I'll tell you about them. But what I looked for is he was verified. And what I looked for was that he seemed like a normal dude. He did. He was like riding a horse. He looks like he was maybe in the army at one point, but I don't know. He looked like he had like a regular civilian life at this point. He looked like he was just a normal dude, like, but one thing he did not fill out a ton about his profile. You know what I keep harping about in like my Hinge reviews, where like there's this section that says like your age, your ethnicity, where you're from, your hometown, blah 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 blah. You can really tell like a lot about somebody from that. And you can tell how quickly somebody filled out their profile if like none of that is really filled out. And none of that is really filled out when you can zoom past it really quick. Like it's kind of like a thicker like section of the profile if like the person took a lot of time to fill out all those things. So the thing that I noticed was that he was verified, he looked normal, but he also did not fill out a lot from there. Like he like didn't really fill out a lot about like what he was looking for. I did try to look at that because I didn't want to like match with somebody who was super short term. Because if he was hot and if it was short term, then he was probably going to try to use me, right? Like, I don't know. I like people to be open, so I don't know. I use my judgment a little bit on that, so I guess it just depends on what I want to do. But I do look at that, and I did look at that, and none of that information was there. None of the information about where he grew up, what kind of religion he was into, like a lot of that information was not there. And so I just had to like match based upon like the stuff that I could see, and the fact that like he tried to prompt me into the match. It wasn't like I was searching. If I had been searching for this myself, I would have seen that as maybe kind of like weird and like not said yes, right? But since he was already trying to match with me, and to get to talk to him, all I had to do was push a button. I was like, okay, fine. So I talked with him, and he like compliments like my like looks like right away or whatever. And in his profile, one of the things that I forgot to mention was he had in his profile that he wanted to go on dates, but he wasn't usually getting dates. So it said like girls like think that he's like good looking or whatever, but they never actually get to a date. And I thought that was kind of strange, but I also have something sort of kind of similar in my profile where it's like I said that I'm not trying to be like a match collector. I actually want to go on fun dates, and so you should leave a comment if you also like to go on fun dates, something along those lines. So I did think that he tried to match with me for those reasons, and I was like, okay. So he quickly tried to like say that I was good looking, and I told him that too, blah blah blah, because it was factual. And then I was asking him like why didn't he get like a lot of dates or whatever. He's like, I'm really not sure. And that's not a really great answer, but I don't know. That could be a truthful answer. This is the first couple of sentences that I'm trying to talk to somebody at, so it's not like I'm expecting long paragraphs of truth here. I was just trying to see if I could open up a conversation. So the conversation kind of stalled when he's just like, yeah, I don't know. And so the next part was like, hey, do you want to just get to know me or whatever? And you want to just like take it slow? And I was like, yeah, that sounds good. So I was on my way to Whole Foods, and I don't really like to use my phone and text people like on my way. It's like a half an hour drive. And so I told him, because like I know when I first match with somebody, it's very delicate. And if you don't kind of talk kind of a lot and establish that you're normal and you're good to talk to and like you're cutesy or whatever, then most people are just like, don't talk with you ever again. So I know that it's delicate when you first match, especially when this person is like clearly not going on dates. So, or at least according to them. So I told him like, look, I'm going to be in the car for like a little while, but that doesn't mean that I'm not interested. That just means that I will text you when I get back. If you want to talk a little bit later. And he's like, sure, that's great. And he's like, yeah, no problem at all. Just text me whenever you can. And so he gives me his phone number, and I didn't think too much of it. But I thought it was strange, relatively strange, to like give me the phone number like pretty much right away. I thought we were going to like continue to message on Hinge. So I was like, okay. I didn't have time because I was like literally getting in the car and going to Whole Foods. I didn't have time to like go to White Pages or whatever and like do the whole reverse lookup. But he did give me his phone number, and I was just like, okay, I'll be back. And he hearted it, and it was fine. And then on my way there, I get into the parking lot, and then I go to like message him to see like what his phone number is, to like put it into whitepages.com and see what, you know, it is. If somebody gives me that information before I give them mine, then before I know anything about them, just like in this case and the previous case, I will look it up. I will use my judgment, obviously, a little bit better if we've been talking for a while, you know? I do understand that there are in-app ways in order to have like conversations, like video chats or whatever, to see if they're a catfish, just like in-app before you even have to exchange phone numbers. So like I am aware of that. So I opened up Hinge and I go to like go get his number, and he's unmatched me within like the 20 minutes that it took to get there. And I was like I was like, oh my God. So either a couple of things happened. A couple of things happened where he like went through my profile again or something, and he didn't like what he saw once he like looked through it again, or he didn't like waiting. He made it seem like it was perfectly normal to wait. So like I'm less inclined to think that he was impatient, but maybe he could have in that time period found somebody else better to talk to, and he was just like kind of getting rid of his second choices. That could be a thing, because like this dude was a good looking dude, but I didn't really see the need to like unmatch me. We ended on a normal thing and he was going to message me. But there are some people who like once you start talking off the app, that they go back and they clean up their matches, and like they only want like incoming or pending things that are in different stages of finding dates to be there, right? So like new matches, or like matches that you haven't exchanged phone numbers at. Like you don't want like the matches that you've given the phone number, because sometimes people that are still matched, if you're like talking off of Hinge, like I can update my Hinge, and so my Hinge matches can see that I've updated my Hinge. And it sort of seems weird if like I'm updating my Hinge while I'm actually going on dates with this person. Like in real life, they can see that I'm still using my Hinge actively. And so some people like erase it from there, and they get rid of the match. But something that people do as well is that if you are matched, exchange phone numbers, take it off app, they unmatch like pretty fast so that they cannot be reported. Off Hinge activity is more difficult to report if you're not actually matched with them anymore. So like they try to unmatch you like pretty much right after they've given the phone number to talk off Hinge, right? Like because I can't like tell Hinge like, oh, there's a dude that looks like Ken that I matched with at like 12:48 or something on a Friday. Like they're not going to be able to find him. So that's a tactic that people use in order to like keep their profile going and to be reported a lot less often. So it's not necessarily a sketchy thing where like the matches unmatch each other once they've given the phone number and are actually like dating, because you just don't want like the current person to like see what you're doing on Hinge, like when you're active and like all that crap, and like what you've done to your like your profile to spruce it up indicating that you're still looking, right? Meanwhile you are dating them. So like I understand a lot of different reasons of why this could happen, and all those different reasons are plausible, but I did want to put it into your head that people do that in order to like not be reported. So had William done that, he could have kept his like sketchy profile where he's like conning girls or whatever. So the reason I tell you about this dude is to like use your best judgment on what happened. Like sometimes you can feel kind of like a little bit bad and like a little bit gross that somebody unmatched you like right away and you did like nothing. But like also something weird could be going on about that. And to maybe, if this is a you thing, like you are deciding whether or not you want to unmatch them now that you're talking offline, it might actually be helpful if you stay matched with them for a little while until you really know about them. If you also like to clean up your matches, or if you also like to not have them look at your profile after you've already like switched over to text. So I never got to actually see if his phone number was a sketchy one or if it belonged to like a cell phone service. So I'm not sure the reason why, like which one is the correct or more likely correct reason why he did that. So that's why I present all of the different ones. He could also just not like me anymore, right? Like that could be also a possibility, and it's like no big deal. But I did want to say, like, people, you should maybe keep your matches at least for like a day or two, like after you've already like moved off Hinge or wherever you're talking with somebody, so that you can have the possibility of reporting them if they stay matched with you, just to like help out other people. So the next one I want to talk to you guys about is the one that happened last night, that like it's never happened to me like this. So what I want to say about this match is that I did not agree to like go on a date with this person. I did not say that I would meet this person. I actually just like casually talked to this person. I didn't know what he looked like because he was one of those profiles that had like just his torso. Sometimes I like to talk to people that have strange profiles when I'm super sick of talking to the normal people, because usually they have some sort of story that's interesting. I just like to learn about people. And it's sometimes more interesting to talk to them anonymously because they're almost like more truthful. Like I've found that out over the years, and it just, I don't know. Sometimes curiosity kills the cat, but like I pick up some interesting tidbits by talking to the people that like clearly you shouldn't, right? Like obviously that's a sketchy profile if he doesn't have his face in it. So anyways, I got to talking with this person. He seemed like a normal dude actually. He seemed like a likable dude, and he seemed like he had a pretty good reason that wasn't, I'm trying to cheat on my wife, and I'm not trying to like be weird. I'm just trying to have a lot of privacy. That's why I have the profile that I do. And so like a lot of the things that he had told me like made sense for like the weird. And so it wasn't that the profile was weird that should have given me like the red flags. Like maybe it should have, maybe it would have prevented like a lot of people from like experiencing this. But like I've talked to a ton of people that have anonymous profiles, whether that be a squirrel or it be a mountain, or it be something. There's a ton of different reasons why people would just be like putting their feet and dipping it a little bit into the water without them having their face attached to their profile. So it usually is a sketchy reason, I can admit that, but like sometimes they're the most interesting to talk to, and sometimes just kind of want that, especially after it's not going that well. So anyways, we'd hit it off, and like for whatever reason we'd been talking off and on for like a week or so, but we had not exchanged numbers. I didn't know what he looked like, and like I kind of didn't take him that seriously, right? Like it was just like, I understand that we're just kind of talking, and usually that's what all it is for me when I match with these types. I can't usually take them seriously because there's so many like safety factors of like, the reveal usually goes really badly for me. Like usually they're attracted to me, but when they reveal to me, when I exchange phone numbers with them or whatever, usually they give me some sort of photo that equals I'm not attracted to them. And it's like an awkward situation now that I'm like, well, I liked your personality, but like I'm not attracted in the same way that you're attracted to me. And so it's difficult now. So I usually give them the option, like, do you want to just keep staying matched for like a little while and then stop talking to each other? Or like, do you want to see, right? Like, I don't know. It's usually a bad idea. I get that. It's usually a bad idea to match with like the weird profiles. But every now and then I've found really good people actually that I fully enjoy. You know, and I actually still talk with them to this day. So I'm one of those people that takes a tiny bit of risk, but I'm not trying to risk my safety, okay? So I'm not trying to be like completely psychotic and like frivolous and just like matching and like meeting up whomever without knowing what their head looks like or knowing what their actual phone number is, you know what I mean? Like I'm not doing that. I will match with people that other people will not match with. Anyways, so we got to the part where it was yesterday. I've been talking for like a week or so, and he asked me what I was doing today. He's like, what are you doing on Saturday? I was like, oh, I'm going on a date. Cause like, I didn't think that we were gonna date. He just looked like he was talking to me about his like work stuff, and like he just talking to me about his life, and like he made no advancements on like talking to me. So I was just treating him like a friend. So I just told him straight up, I was like, oh, I'm just going on a date tomorrow. And then from there, he kind of turned it into, I want to meet you tonight, because today he's like out of town. So he wasn't going to like meet me today or tomorrow. So he had to do it in his head. He had to do it that same day. Mind you, we never even talked about like exchanging phone numbers or doing anything. So we had talked, we'd had fun with each other, and it was very casual, and I never knew what he looked like, and like I didn't ask. Like I never really wanted to go on a date with him, but because I told him that I was going on a date with somebody else the next day, he got it in his head that we should meet yesterday. We should meet in person. And I'm like, I don't do it like that. I'm sorry, I don't do it like that. I like to actually like talk with you and know that you're like safe, especially given the fact that I don't even know what you look like. Like I could not be attracted to you. You could be crazy, because if your profile is kind of sketchy, like nothing about you screams like we should meet immediately, even though we've been talking for like a week. Nothing about it seems safe. So I explained that to him, and he was like kind of like a little bit joking, but not. He was like, oh, you're very mistrustful. He was like who hurt you? And like I thought he was just kind of like kidding, but like, because he said like who hurt you with like the U with like 1,000 like O's after it, kind of like who hurt you? And instead of just like an actual serious like normal spelling or whatever with the actual question mark, it was like in jest. And I thought he was just kind of like, oh, I'm noticing that this person is mistrustful, but like I'm gonna make fun of that right now. That's how I took it. I didn't take it as he was actually trying to like probe for my information about like what happened to me to make me just like mistrust him. I feel like if nothing had happened to me, like stuff does happen to me to make me mistrust people. And I have bad instances that I try to learn from, but like, I think even in general, even the most normal a person that is completely like innocent in all ways of like what happens to the dating, like in the dating sphere. I think even like a person that has nothing from her past to like make her kind of mistrustful would not want to meet somebody that they don't know what their head looks like. Or like, I just don't think that that's reasonable to think that I am unreasonable. So I picked up that he was like calling me out for my mistrust. And I also picked up that he was like rushing me and like trying to do it on his terms. So like in a perfect world, he would exchange a phone number with me if it was like this and it was going well like this. Even with his sketchy profile, he would exchange phone numbers with me. He would do the face reveal. We would talk about whether or not we both found each other attractive, what we wanted to do with that, if anything. And then we would arrange a date. Like it wasn't all going to happen completely blind that same night when we had not really talked about that at all. So he like tells me that he's like gonna get ready to like come to like my city. It's like a 40-something minute drive from like where he lives to like where I live. So it's not like a really like a drive down the road casual. It's like you have to purposely like do this. And I thought that he was like straight up kidding, because I feel like that's really weird, because I never said that I wanted to go on a date with him. In fact, I said that I didn't do it like this. I said that like this is not what I usually do, and this is not what I'm going to do with you. I made it very clear, like very, very clear. I wasn't like talking in code words or whatever. And if I was talking in code, I feel like he's the type, he's intelligent enough to like have decoded it, right? So, but I was talking plainly. I was like, this is not how I do it. I usually exchange numbers, blah, blah, blah. So he gets in his car, like at like 9 or so. So it's not even like an early date. It's like gonna be like almost like kind of late evening by the time that he rolls up to my city. And he's rolling up to my city to potentially meet me, and I haven't even said that I would meet him in person, let alone that night. He was trying to like go have dinner with me or something, and I had said no. And so he still comes. He comes to like my city, and he like actually says to me, like once he gets to like where he was gonna go have like dinner by himself after I told him like I'm not going to dinner with you, he was like, because like he was a good guy, like there was nothing that indicated beyond like his sketchy profile that he was weird. Like he'd never been pushy like this. He'd never been like so ignoring of like what I told him. In fact, he was the opposite. Like when I told him stuff, he was like very like emotionally intelligent. And so this kind of like didn't really line up. It was like he was very out of character for like what he was doing, and like it was just weird. He was like, do you want to like WhatsApp me when I get to like the restaurant or whatever? I was like, why would I WhatsApp you? Because to me, if we're not talking through like our normal telephones or whatever, like even if you have an Android and I have an iPhone, we can still like call each other by giving each other like our real numbers. To me, that like just lends like credibility to like your intentions if you're willing to just give me your real stuff. It equals super fucking sketch with all these things lined up. No head wants to like have a date with me when I said I didn't want to have a date, that I didn't do it like this, and like it's kind of like pressuring me into like meeting him for the first time when he's already in my city, when I don't understand why he's here. I didn't agree to this. It seems weird. So I found this all very like, I can't believe this is happening, like very creepy. So like I know that I could have just like unmatched, right? But like this is happening in like real time. Like this is happening, and like I had previously had like a whole week of like liking this person. Like this person was enjoyable for me. So it's not like he'd been sketchy and like pushy and weird like the whole time. Like obviously I wouldn't have even got to that point, right? Like my reddest flags would have been like, Michelle, this isn't even fun just to talk to this type of person. So like I was trying to do like a, what do I do with this kind of thing, and like he was like kind of not making fun of my mistrust, but I was like very open that I was like, you're being sketchy. And like he was open about like, it's not sketchy, this like I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm just kind of like going with the flow, I'm going with the moment, I'm going with how like I don't know how to date. Like it was very odd. So I'm telling you all this just in case you are somebody who has no idea how to date and you think this is a good idea. It's not a good idea to roll up to a stranger's city and like tell them that you're coming when they didn't say that that's okay. Like obviously he can roll up into the city like whenever he wants to. He lives in this state too. I don't own this city, but meaning like he's coming to like kind of like put me on the spot, like in his own time, even if it's not like for a nefarious reason. Like he could be a perfectly normal person but doesn't understand that the way that you are meeting me is abnormal. I've already said no. I've already expressed that I would like to like arrange it a little bit better and more like comfortably, where I already have like a phone conversation with you and then we meet in person in public, right? Like this seems like real weird. He wanted me to like meet him at some chicken spot at like 10:30 at night for the first time ever, and I hadn't even like seen his face. So he's like, you want to WhatsApp me? And I again was like, that's really strange. Like, why wouldn't we just like exchange phone numbers? And he's like, you do have to give a phone number, but like the WhatsApp is like encrypted, blah, blah, blah. I don't use WhatsApp because I find it sketchy, because all of a sudden when I have that app on my phone, I'll have like a ton of texts from like people that I don't know come up through my number because like the app is active on my phone, and I just get rid of it. I don't really like to talk to people on WhatsApp, and I just avoid the whole thing. Same way that I avoid Snapchat. I find it kind of like only the sketchiest people want me to talk off of the app and not on like something that's like within. I'm not worried that the FBI is like reading my text messages. Like I kind of want that. I kind of want that like paper trail. Like it lends credibility to normal. But if you're like super secretive and you're like, I want to take it from like, I'm not going to show my face, I'm not going to show like anything unless it's encrypted, I feel like that's weird. And like, why, how are you so private that you like can't even talk to a Tinder match, right? Like, what do you think I'm gonna, I don't know. I just find it really weird. Like all the combination of all that was really weird. The fact that he was pushy, the fact that he wasn't listening to my no, and the fact that like he was rushing it and making it seem like I was missing out on this spontaneous moment. Meanwhile, like what I know about this dude is that he's not super spontaneous. He has no game, that he's kind of like a pushover engineer type IT dude, you know? Like all of this is like kind of contradictory to like what I knew about him. And like, obviously I felt kind of like, not threatened, but I felt like this was real strange. I've never had somebody just like come over to like a very close area of where I live without me kind of saying that that was cool to do, right? Like usually they come over when I said like, I'm gonna actually meet you. So he gets to the chicken place and he's like, I opened the app on Tinder and it says that you're still like 31 miles away. So he's like checking to see if I like live close to like where he said like that he was. And I don't know why he's checking. Like that just made me feel weird that he's like coming to like, is he gonna like go around where I live and be like, whoop, she's a mile away from here, you know, like go different areas and like try to like pinpoint where I live. That's weird. Creepy, especially if I don't know you. I feel like that's creepy, but again, it could be like he really just doesn't understand that this is creepy. So I did WhatsApp him because I was like, well, I was in all of the moment and like I was like, well, okay, like we're gonna do this. So I WhatsApp him and he's completely different looking than I thought he was going to be, but he seems like a nice enough dude. He doesn't look like a visual killer, but like how are you supposed to know what a visual killer looks like, right? Like I think there's more, like even if he's not a killer, like I'm looking for someone who's like aware enough to like follow like read a room. Like my room was definitely closed, right? And I feel like he was just like pressuring me, which is very strange because like I'm usually not in this stage of my life, in my dating game, like I'm usually not able to be like pressured. And it was only because of my previous like of him that I was like, maybe this could be okay. Like, so I'll still like WhatsApp him or whatever and like video chat. So we did video chat. It was fine. I convinced him that he should probably go home. And he seemed like kind of disappointed, but also not. And we did talk about that, like, this looks weird. And he did say out loud to me that he like acknowledged that this was, he was pushy. And I just thought the whole thing was weird. I explained to him what like a normal date would look like to me. And he's like, yeah, that sounds reasonable. I was like, can we do more of that and less of this? He just kept telling me that like he didn't understand dating. And like, I don't necessarily like buy that. I pay attention to like what people do. When do they show their aggression? Like, how, like this dude is trying to get me to do what he wants. Like, which is to like meet him like right now without safety measures in place, or without even me knowing if like I was attracted to him, right? Like, turns out he was reasonably attractive. He wasn't like super attractive, but he was like decent enough. So like, I don't know. I don't know if he was just so insecure that he was like kind of like trying to like not trick me into like liking him, right? Like, I don't know, like, because he was definitely like, I don't think you're going to like me visually. He was definitely like that. He was avoiding kind of like the reveal. So anyways, he stopped messaging me on WhatsApp. So I thought that that was strange as well. So we'd exchanged numbers so that we could talk on WhatsApp through video chat to like do the reveal. But there was no picture sent. There was no like text message. It was just me. I called him on video chat. And then once he like left and like hung up or whatever, I told him to like drive safe. Like I messaged him in the app to like drive safe. He read it because I saw that there was checks. And then he went back to message me on Tinder. So like, I don't know if he's trying to like not have like a text paper trail like off the app. Like, I don't know why we went back to Tinder, like once we've already exchanged phone numbers and like had like this thing, right? Like, I don't know, this all doesn't make sense and it was all very strange. And I'm sure that this, if this is going to come up, it could come up in a variety of different formats. Like, it's not going to be the same exact story because the person that does this is not going to be the same exact guy, right? But there's elements of this that I want you to pay attention to. It's that he like didn't listen to my no and didn't read a room when I was very clear that I wasn't interested in like meeting him the way that he wanted me to meet him. A normal person that I would want to date is going to understand that. I've said that a lot of different times. If they have their own agenda and they don't understand that my agenda doesn't line up with theirs, then that's weird and I don't like that. It doesn't have to be a perfect match. Like, I can compromise on certain things, hence why I did like WhatsApp him and like do the reveal that way through that instead of like doing the reveal through like the video chat or whatever on Tinder. I don't really know why we had to WhatsApp. I don't really know anything about why he had me do all this, but I did see that he had like an agenda and it was like kind of like scary and it was pushy and it was rushed and it was like hidden behind like just be spontaneous, right? And like, I think that if you're already dealing with like a sketchy person with like no head, like you don't want to just like be spontaneous. You want to like do your due diligence, right? Like, I have talked to people with just mountains for their profiles, and I talked to them for a long time and I realized that they were pretty normal, right? This doesn't always equal they're sketchy, but it can equal that they're sketchy. But at the same time, there are people that like have full regular profiles that still push you to like meet them in unsafe ways, or ways that you find unsafe or too soon or whatever, for your own safety checks to happen. So like, I think that's not good. Like, if you're just a normal dude and you don't understand how to date, don't do any of these things that I said in this video. You can avoid being seen as sketchy if it's accidental by just avoiding this stuff. So even if he was like completely clueless, like he pretended, or at least said to me that he was completely clueless, this was a weird thing to do, even though he admitted to me that it was like a pushy thing to do. Like, I think that that's, yeah, lots of yuck. So that's why I wanted to tell you all these things, is because like, you're not going to see the exact situation that I saw, but you're going to see elements of this, and I just want you to like think about them. And I want you to think about them really hard before you commit to like your in-person thing, or to even give your actual like physical address, or to like give your, you know, like your phone number. Like, you can actually just like keep talking online and like decide if they're like normal in your own time. Somebody who's going to rush you and not let that process happen might be sketch. But also, you don't want to be a pen pal, right? So like, there's this window of time that it's normal in order for this process to happen. So you kind of have to do it a little bit fast for people to not get sick of you, but you also have to do it like for a long enough time that you can actually be satisfied that it's going to be a safe situation for you to like meet up, right? So I hope that you stay safe, and I hope that you have fun on dates, but I want you to watch out for people who are weird, and I just want you to be well. So take care, and I will see you guys soon.